Hi,
Uh,
team. Are you
Hello,
here?
how are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm
I
good,
am.
team. I'm so happy you're here with us today. So, just for those who are watching us, I will make a quick intro. Tim and I both studied and played at USF San Francisco. And pretty soon after we met each other, we realized we share similar traits on and off the court. We were both lucky to play professionally. Tim, you've been playing professionally 7 years in
Yeah, just my seventh year.
in Spain, Switzerland, France. Have I forgotten something?
I did have a little stint in Slovakia for 4 or 5 months.
Oh,
There's a little
wow.
Eastern European reference for you there.
So you covered a lot of countries, a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
Um, this interview, I'm so happy you said yes to be the guest. This interview, it's part of the webinar Unleash Your Athletic Brilliance. And I think you're the right person for that. I think you're a brilliant athlete, and I hope you don't mind. We jump straight to the questions.
No, not at all. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to just be a part of this. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. So, Tim, tell me, what is something, when you look back at your career, what is something you've struggled with? We're gonna start with tough questions right away. What is something you've struggled with during your career, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, I've struggled with a lot in my career, like most college professional athletes, but I always believed like that was the only way I was able to actually become, a collegiate athlete and a professional athlete, just experiencing all those struggles. My favorite quote was the quality of our life is not determined by, the quality of our positive experiences, but more so the quality of our negative experiences. And to get good at dealing with the negative experiences is ultimately to get good at dealing with life.
Mhm.
Um, so, I mean, I think just with that being said, my biggest struggle was always just disappointment from results, whether it was like just having a bad game or constantly feeling like I should have been at a higher level, right? Or played in a better league. And when you work really hard at something, I think it creates expectations,
Mhm.
and sometimes realistic expectations, but also probably some unrealistic ones. And I'm not saying unrealistic in terms of don't dream and think big, but like what I think people oftentimes forget is, you know, when you want to be a part of the less than 1%,
Mhm.
you are only given a chance if you work like the 1%, the less than 1%. And
Mhm.
as you know, when you reach those higher and higher levels of being a professional, that percentage only tends to get smaller and smaller. So when you get there, everyone's working as hard as they can, right? Like everyone's the first one to the gym, everyone's the last one to leave. Like everyone says, if you want to be the best, you got to be the first one in the gym or the last one. But when you get to these certain levels, that's everybody. Like everybody has those same mindsets. So when you get to a lot of these levels, a lot of these things are kind of out of your control. Um, and those are difficult things to comprehend as an athlete, and those are difficult things I had a tough time comprehending. So I
Mhm.
think just struggling with wanting more. Um, and then I was able to kind of overcome those things by continuing to stay motivated and just continuing to work hard and let the chips kind of fall where they may.
Yes, I remember you from the college days, and you had those traits of a hard worker. You were motivated, you did extra work, even when you played well. Like I remember I was watching you, and you would get like a MVP award, and the next day you would still show up in the morning to do extra work. So obviously you had the right skills and the right personality traits, characteristics, dreams, and that helped you to go to the pro level. But as you said beautifully, once you got there, there was a new challenge because now
Right.
everyone were working hard, and the percentage of your ability to go even above others was smaller. The chances were slimmer. So in terms of that, have you ever worked with a mental performance coach? And could you tell us more about that experience?
Yeah, it wasn't until college, but I have worked with several, most of whom I really liked a lot and enjoyed. I've also had, like one negative experience.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm,
that's, you know, actually an interesting subject to speak on. But mental performance is something that has really grown a lot over the years. It's something I strongly believe in, and is like an extremely useful tool to help athletes perform at a high level.
mm-hmm,
But I think when things become popular, new, innovative, like the new craze, as I feel like mental performance kind of is as of recent, I think sometimes people tend to get like so excited they become overly optimistic or blind to some of the dangers that
mm-hmm.
have yet explored or discovered.
Yes.
Uh, and so, like,
Mm-hmm,
seek mental health perform or mental performance help. A lot of times it's coming from or stemming from performance struggles, right? Or
mm-hmm,
like mental difficulties that we want to fix.
mm-hmm,
And that's so tough. And it's such a touchy thing
mm-hmm,
and kind of a really uncomfortable one at that, right? So the mental aspect of sports is really complicated. And when we experience struggles, sometimes we can, like for me personally, you can kind of get desperate and you're kind of searching for anyone or any coach that's willing to just kind of sit and listen. So
mm-hmm,
I think athletes, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I think it's only going to help the mental performance side of things. And even you, if that's, what you're interested in, and like, Sana, who's really great at what she does, like she's one of the best. And so I think like one thing I did is I forgot to ask really important questions before
mm-hmm,
working with mental coaches. And I mean, for a lot of us, sports is everything, right? It's our life, and whether we want to admit it or not, our world kind of revolves around it to a certain extent at times. And so when you're in college or you're professional, our sport completely affects everything from our friends to our family and vice versa.
mm-hmm,
So when a mental coach taps into a lot of those things that impact our mental and emotional performance
mm-hmm,
uh, on the court, that's extremely personal. So we have to be vulnerable in ways that most of us aren't used to. And I think it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, and it's scary. So at least for me, like, it's important to ask questions as far as like, you know, what's the agenda here? Because I think in mental performance, it should just be about the player and how can we help you continue to perform at a higher and higher level. And a lot of times to do that from a mental perspective, you have to tap into those really important things.
mm-hmm,
Um, and just make sure that there aren't ulterior motives, like when you're using coaches who work for the club, not the player.
mm-hmm,
Um, and those things like that I didn't really consider, as far as have these coaches who are working for the clubs or the professional organizations, has it worked for other teammates who are
mm-hmm,
in similar situations? And a lot of times, like for me, it was actually used as a form of communication for the club to kind of make their own suggestions
mm-hmm,
on the players and how they should be handled or how they should be treated. And
mm-hmm.
so being vulnerable, getting uncomfortable with myself, not knowing that this isn't exactly just to help me. It's more to help the club get what they want, get information to help them win. So that can be really dangerous when you're speaking on personal experiences and vulnerable situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it should only be used to help you, not expose you, you know? Um, and again, like I am all for it. Like I'm a huge fan of mental performance, and there's some really great coaches out there, like Sana and like you one day. And those are the people that you have to find if you're going to search for mental coaches to help you with the mental aspect of your training or to become a collegiate or professional athlete. So just, I would say be careful. Like in my situation, I had some amazing ones that really helped me with my career
Mhm.
and were the difference in, helping me all these years. But at the same time, I also had one at the end of my career that did the exact opposite, like made me kind of lose that love a little bit, lose that trust. Um, so not to keep going on and on about it, but I think it's important for people to consider both sides of it and really do a good, like a well thought out and thorough investigation of who they should be working with. If that makes
That's such a profound advice for young athletes. And you know what? I agree with you. Uh, Not all coaches, all mental performance coaches have the same level of knowledge or the same level of experience. And not to say ones are better or worse, but as you said, the athlete should know why they're going to work with a mental performance coach. It should come from them. It shouldn't be something they must do.
right.
It should come from the inner wish, inner dream to really get better. And if they can learn some tools, some strategies that can help them to perform consistently, to perform under pressure, and to get like more self-belief, like a holistic self-belief in themselves, which will show on the court for sure. Those are the reasons, and those are the kind of mental performance coaches athletes should be working with. But I agree totally with you. This should be set up in the beginning, like some kind of agenda. Why are we here? What are we working on? What are the things you want to improve? So I'm really, really glad you said it out loud. You were honest. I really appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, and it's only to help people like Sana and people like Yvonne, who we worked with in college, and you, like, they're great, right? Those are people you can trust and people who you can really develop like a strong relationship with, to understand that when I share these experiences and when I share these like things that I've gone through in my life, they're using those things to help you, right? To take your game to a new level.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of mental coaches, or some of mental coaches, aren't doing that.
Mm.
And that's just, it's so tough for anyone to be vulnerable and to share
To open
personal
up.
experience, right? Let alone family, let alone your best friend. Like those are things that are really hard to do, but those are also the things that can take you to those different levels that you didn't even know were possible.
Yeah.
Um, but if it's used in the wrong way, it can do the opposite and make you not want to continue maybe with the sport, or not continue to share with people,
Mm.
and are closed off.
Mm.
So me, like the mental performance aspect of sports is so important for both reasons, the positive one and the negative one.
Yeah, it can go either way, and you have experienced both. And since you have so much knowledge and so many years behind, and probably the situations in the clubs with the teammates, players, what is something like in what way at this point of your life do you think you can give back to the young generations who aspire to do exactly the same thing you're doing and you have done so far?
Um, yeah, I mean, that's a good question. And like so far at this point, I've been proud to been able to have helped a lot of athletes in kind of my off seasons when I'm back
Mhm.
home. On every year, I always take like two or three kids, normally from my old high school that I went to many years ago, and incorporate them into my workout. So I try my best to coach them, give them advice, and just kind of push them while doing a lot of like high level drills that pros are doing. So just getting to spend time with these high school kids gives me opportunities to have conversations with them and just kind of get them thinking like, what are my goals? Um, am I working hard enough to obtain these goals?
Mhm.
And what you're doing differently, and how are you able to do all these things yourself?
Mhm.
So like kids, just like anyone else, at the end of the day, I think they just want someone in their corner. And it's hard sometimes for me to provide that while I'm traveling so much, but I've never turned a kid down that's asked for help. Like even when I'm in France and kids are asking me questions in French, at this point, I've learned enough where I do my best to speak with them
Uh-huh.
and just kind of give them that if they work hard, they can do this too.
Yeah.
So I even have parents who ask me to send happy birthday videos to their kids via Instagram, send them gear. I mean, I never try to turn anyone away because I know like relationships mean everything to these kids. So it's an honor, really. And, I always want to know like what it took to reach these levels. So just to have someone point me in a direction and show me the way, that's all you can really ask for. So that's what I hope to do for kids and what I continue to hope to do for kids when I'm done playing.
Where are you going next? Like, what's your next step, and like, what's your kind of a big goal? Like you were talking about the goals. What's your big goal?
Uh, oof. I mean, like any athlete, I just want to find a future that brings like the same fire, passion, and love for life like sports did. It's a special thing to kind of discover what your gift is, right? And like one of my old coaches, Luke Wicks, you remember Luke?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
he
yes,
used
a good
to
one.
always, one of my favorite things he always said was like the key to life is finding your gift, dedicating time to developing that gift, and then at the end, eventually, you have to give that gift away. So like, I mean, I've really spent a good part of my life developing that gift. Like I'm turning 30 next week, and I feel like I've spent my whole life just training, working out, trying to be the best I can be. And I was fortunate enough to kind of discover my gift at like a super early age with basketball. So I'm just hoping now that at some point, to some capacity, I can eventually give that gift away, whether it's coaching or helping, mentoring young athletes, and just sort of like helping them find and develop their gifts, to do the same thing. Cause I've enjoyed almost all of it of my entire 30-year life, career. So to be able to offer that to kids and help them do the same thing is like that's as good as it gets in my opinion.
Oh my God, the world just got better. The world just got better with you to be someone's mentor. I'm so excited to see what's the next step because I think you're gonna make a lot of kids very, very happy. And just to go off what you said about the support system, I want to, for those who are watching us, I want to introduce 8-week online program Sana and I are doing. It's called Next Level Athlete Group Rising Stars. So it's for younger athletes around 15 to 18 years old who want to go to college, who want to go get scholarships or pro contracts. And I'm sure we will be collaborating more with Tim because obviously he has a lot to share and give to younger athletes. But I just want to comment how in this group, why we did the group, because you meet a lot of other young athletes who are going through similar things you're going through, who are maybe having same struggles. So you share your daily thoughts, your daily problems, and it kind of it kind of eases off the whole thing. It gives you different perspectives, and you can relate, you can help someone else, and someone else can help you. So I think it's really really profound content and program for the younger athletes. Um, Okay. Thank you for being today with us, Tim. Just to finish this up, I have five funny questions. You have to think fast and say whatever comes first to your mind. Are you
Got
ready?
it.
Are you
Ready.
you nervous?
So nervous.
Okay. Last TV show you binge watched.
Ooh. Um, what was it? Ted Lasso.
Okay. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Salty. What about sea or mountains for vacation?
Mountains.
Really? I'm surprised for that one. Ooh, I have an interesting one. If you had to choose one language to speak for the rest of your life, French or Italian?
French. Just because I know
Ooh,
say that one.
why? I didn't hear you.
My girlfriend would force me to say that one. She'd be really upset if I chose Italian.
And what about your favorite song during the really, really hard workout?
Mm. Dang, that's a really good question. I think it kind of changes. It depends the mood, like the mood you're in. But
What first came to your mind?
I have no idea. I'm trying to think of a song like some Morgan Wallen song that I just heard the other day. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right.
What's the
I
name
have
of the song?
that stumped me.
We're gonna put it in the comments later on. Okay, that's it. Enough of torture. Uh, Tim, thank you so much for your valuable lessons, for your time. And I hope, no, I hope, I know we will get together again.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. It was an honor just to be a part of all this, and I've admired all that you've done since your career at USF from professional standpoint. It's amazing, it's inspiring, and I just really appreciate the opportunity. So it was a joy to just be a part of this. So thank you.
Yes, you're a brilliant athlete, Tim, and thank you for being with us today. Bye, bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
bye.
Bye.